Surprise attack, sneak attack. It's live.
What's up, dude? What are you eating?
What's going on? I'd get these pre-made meals and I just throw them in the microwave and heat them up. I don't. Do you cook?
Yeah, I tried HelloFresh for a while.
HelloFresh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, but you still got to cook the stuff.
Like, you actually have to cook it, or do you have to microwave it?
No, you have to cook it. Like they send you the ingredients and stuff, but you have to like actually cook. So like it could be 40 minutes, it could be an hour sometimes. But
That's right.
I got the basics down because I really didn't know how to cook. So.
Oh, do you want to cook it? I mean, it's so much time.
Yeah,
too,
I wanted to learn. Yeah, I wanted to learn, but then I got busy again with the podcast stuff and all that stuff. So it's like a lot more free time is gone.
Right, exactly. But it's so worth it because I mean, you're touching so many people. You're mentoring, you're educating, you're doing such outstanding stuff. You know, you wouldn't be doing any of that if you're cooking. It's like one meal for yourself, rather. You know.
Yeah. Well, it just depends. It's usually me or a couple other people or one other person. So it's not a lot of people to cook for. So. And then I got to feed the cats and the raccoon, and so it's like, you know.
Yeah, then you got the raccoon.
Whatever.
Yeah, now you're feeding like 7 bellies.
Well, the raccoon's like 5 cats. I think he eats like what 5 cats probably eat in a day, so or more. I don't even know. Like he's always hungry. So yeah, can you hear me? Okay.
I hear you great. You sound a lot more volume than last time.
All right, cool. Yeah, I've been messing with the settings.
What'd you do? It's perfect.
Oh, I don't know. I just turned it up.
Just turn it. You still have the board?
I do. That board?
Love it.
That thing is like the best thing ever. It's like the only 2 buttons I ever use are those 2, but it's fine.
What are the buttons you got
It's
over there?
got more stuff. I don't know. It's got a lot of buttons. You can program a lot of things on it. It's pretty basic. It's the Rodecaster Duo. If you're watching Rode mic or whatever. But yeah, you just plug in the headphones, you plug in the microphone to it, and then just a USB-C goes to my laptop. And you can just do all the settings on there. And I put a sweater on this guy. Sorry. Get him out of the way.
Let's see the sweater.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
There you go, Amy. I didn't get the back legs on him because he was freaking out.
Yeah, he's freaking out. Not worth it. Hey, cat. Hey, kid.
He'll be back.
Cool. So what'd you do today? Did you work? No, you worked yesterday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. So I'm on my 6 days off for the week schedule. So like we all rotate the same schedule. There's 5 surgeons and now we're on the same schedule. And so each of us goes through a period where we work on Monday, Tuesday, then we have the next 6 days off. And then we're back. When we're back to work on next Tuesday, we start call for the week. And then it goes back to that. So it averages out to like, I don't know, 15 to 16 days a month that we work. No. And people are always like, oh, oral surgeons are so busy. Yeah, you can totally be working every day, every night if you want. Or you can, tailor your schedule to fit your lifestyle, your family, like whatever works, so there's a lot of in between there, you can be in the call, you can do trauma call all you want. It's just, I don't want to anymore. So, I take my every 5th week of it. That's great. That's even a lot. So I'm like, so
every 5th week. That's great. That's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when we're on call, we cover 7 days for the practice. There's 5 surgeons, 4 locations, and we take call for the practice. So for anyone's patients during that week, and then you fill up your surgery days, like with random, like emergency patients, things like that. So you get hit pretty hard sometimes during that week. And then you're also on call for the hospital. We cover a level 2 trauma center, and they're trying to be level 1. I think the next 3 years they might be, because they have residents now and a lot of things. So, and they have in-house trauma team and all that stuff. So they're working towards level 1. So right now there's only one level 1 in our state. Well, in our side of the state. Yeah. So speaking of residents and things, I know we were just briefly talking about, I guess like match day happened a week or so ago, right?
Friday. Yeah.
I'm so far past that stuff. You're way closer to it than I am. We literally just got a new associate last year from Parkland. And so he's still doing his first year in our practice. And so I have an understanding of how that works now based on what it used to be. But from your end, how's it go?
As far as the match process and everything?
Like from you, what you're hearing from applicants? What you're hearing from people? Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm hearing there's a lot of stuff going on. One of the things that has changed that's nice is that the cat's back. What's his name, by the way?
It's Ximik, but so I guess it's pronounced Himik. He's from Ukraine.
Himik. Oh,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Himik with the cute sweater.
Uh-huh.
One of the things that is differently, that was the same when you entered in match. Remember there was like a month where you just sat around waiting to find out where you're going to go? Apparently they shortened it to like 1 or 2 weeks. It's significantly shorter. So you're not just sitting around like pulling your hair out.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know why they didn't do that sooner. But that's one thing. Another thing is, the oral surgery match spots are there. How many are there in the country? Do you have this thing?
So literally I got our journal in the mail today, and this is the, what is it? This month. December 2024. And there's an article from it's an editorial. Is there a better way to select oral maxillofacial surgery residents? They're saying, I think there's from last year, there was like 111 spots maybe or something like that.
No, there's
And
more than that. There's between
oh,
like
really?
250 and 350, right?
Oh, okay. I don't know what I was reading. I was skimming. But basically, but there's a certain number that went unmatched even last year.
26 last year, 12 in 2023. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they were saying there's so many spots, and then there's always now that there's a lot more that go unmatched, and it's harder to pick residents because a lot of dental schools are going to pass fail, and there's I think the dental boards, are they pass fail now?
They are.
Part 1 and part 2. I think they might be pass fail. And so it's harder to objectively find candidates based off that. And so what they really only have is like the CBSC exam and your interview or your cover letters and your letters of reference. So there's not a lot of data for them to go through to pick candidates either. So it's harder for them to even choose based on that. So that's what I was reading in the editorial on this article, but in our journal.
Interesting. That's all very extrospective rather than any of it being introspective.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, so while
Yeah.
a lot of that is true, there's the CBSE. I don't know of too many dental schools that are actually I know like mine was great. It was non-ranked, but it was still ABC, except for like Harvard and I think UConn and then Columbia. I don't know of other dental schools that are strictly pass fail. Like, I don't know actually how many exist. So I'm considering that an excuse from the article personally. Other than that was in there. You also mentioned, yes, dental school boards are pass fail. That might make it more difficult, but they use the CBSE. So it kind of balanced that out. And you know what? My year, there weren't unmatched spots. This is going back, 4 years. There weren't more than 5 or 10 unmatched spots in my years. So what's causing this significant increase? I think, with the availability of TikTok, social media, all these alternatives.
I don't know. So
Sure.
literally, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think there's so many more available options, and I think quality of life has become.
You mean people are being influencers now instead? Is that what you're saying? I don't know.
I'm not. That's
Or
not like
trying to be.
replacing it. I just think people are much more realistic with their quality of life, paying back loans. So what I'm getting to is it's the 6-year spot that's really being affected. This year, 20 of 21 spots that were unmatched, 20 of them were 6-year spots. Only one of them was a 4-year spot, Harlem Hospital. Of the 20, 2 of them were Case Western. This is my proof. Case Western is only 5 years and you get your MD. It's the only program in the country that's like that. 2 out of their 3 spots were unmatched. That's a year discount.
Were they just extra picky then? Because that sounds odd.
That's a year discount on an MD. Are you kidding me? I would have taken that if I couldn't even get an interview at Case Western. You know what I'm saying?
So I got the numbers. I got the numbers from this article. So it says 115 program listings for applicants for both 4-year and 6-year programs. They said 115. And then they had 26 unfilled spots in 2024.
Correct. 2024, it's 26. This year's 21.
Yeah, and there was 115 spots.
Does that sound low to you? I was pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it says in this article, so I believe it. But
yeah. ChatGPT's saying, yeah, that's basically what ChatGPT's saying. They're saying,
I got to use AI.
Oh, they're saying 243 available positions.
Well, I don't know. This article is referencing 115 program listings for applicants. So, and there was 26 unfilled.
Yes,
just
26
came out.
Unfilled. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Sorry, ChatGPT. I don't know.
Yeah, ChatGPT is always way off. It's getting better though. No, that AI, the AI is getting crazy.
But you said most of them that were unfilled were 6-year spot or MD integrated programs.
This year, yes, 20 of the 21.
Right.
Yes.
Right. That's what I did. I literally only interviewed to 6-year programs when I was doing it. The only 4-year program I actually interviewed at was at the University of Washington because I did an externship there and I'm from Seattle. And they had told me at the time that they're going to plan to change it to a 6-year. But they didn't even change that to a 6-year until like 8 years ago or something. So that was just relatively recent too. It took them a long time to do that. But that was why. And so I don't know. It's just kind of what you want and what you think. But now, like with dental schools being so freaking expensive, like I was just looking at some of the numbers from I went to Tufts, at the time, and even now, I think it's one of the most expensive dental schools technically to get into or to pay once you're there. I don't even know what the thing is now. It's probably like $150,000 a year or something like that. I don't even know. Or USC, it could be like 160. 70? I don't even know.
I'll tell you right now, predentmentormap.org. I'll tell you right now, predentmentormap.org. Tufts, enter. By the way, it's got a class size of over 200. It's one of the top 5 size-wise in the country.
Yeah, when I was there was 140 students. And then like by the end of the couple of years, like you lose like 10, 12 of them for whatever reason. But they started out at like 140-ish when I was there. So they've upped that. But they've added on to the school also. So
Right. Yeah, it's 185,000 in state, and out of state is, well, the cost of attendance altogether is about 103 a year. So it's very.
Well, then you got to live there in Boston. So, you know, like you're in New York or whatever. And so like Boston and New York, you know, pretty expensive places to be. So yeah, you got to add a little extra there. So by the time, like, you know, if you don't come, like I paid for most of my stuff with loans. I didn't, you know, my parents aren't doctors or anything. And so, you know, it's a lot to ask for people to pay through dental school. And then if you go to a 6-year program, you got to pay tuition for the medical school. So that's what I had to do. I had to pay for 3 years tuition of medical school, essentially. Also, you know, and your resident salary is not going to cover that. So you still got to essentially take loans if you don't have like a benefactor, you know, or a sugar mommy or something. But, you know, so it's a lot. Yeah. And then you have to like work, you know, and by the time you pay off all your loans. So like people are like, oh yeah, the 4-year makes economic sense. Because I was, for the longest time, like out of 4 surgeons in my practice, like I was the only dual degree. And it doesn't really make a difference, you know, as far as your care. I actually think in 4-year programs, you probably get more oral surgery training because you're not doing all the extra stuff either. Maybe a lot of your extra time can be back into oral surgery. So I always thought that you actually got more oral surgery training in most, you know, 4-year programs comparatively. Because you're not on like, OB-GYN for like 8 weeks or something, you know. I delivered my like one baby, and like the C-section one was kind of cool because they let me suture up the uterus and stuff. But delivering that other baby, like that was like a 6-hour thing, man. It was hot summer day, like no AC in that room for some reason. It was just a lot. It was a lot.
Wasn't a calling? You didn't feel anything?
I was a med student then. And so like, you know, you're following your patient, and the residents also, OB-GYN residents there. And there's obviously attendings here and there. And literally just with my med student buddies, I had sat down in the cafeteria, got my chicken sandwich and like a drink and a dessert on my hospital tray, sat down with my med student buddies. And I got a stat page, your patient's in labor. I'm like, I didn't even get a chance to eat it. Like it was lunchtime. I'm like, I'm so hungry. And anyways, I was up in that room for like 6 hours after that. It was a long. That kind of skewed me, I think, for OB-GYN. But yeah, leave that to people that like it. So
what an experience, from delivering babies to taking out teeth. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, that part was, I mean, the surgery part of it is obviously fun for us because you're suturing and stuff. But the actual natural childbirth stuff, like that's not for me.
Did they ever look up and be like, so when did you finish medical school? And you're like, I'm a dentist.
Yeah, they liked us. Like, you know, I feel like this is like for a lot of programs, they like the OMFS residents on their service.
They do.
Because I feel like
they really do.
For whatever reason, and I found this to be true in a lot of places, like they do a good job. They're thorough. Even though they're out of dental school, I think when they get into the medical environment, for the most part, they're above and beyond. You know, that's what I feel like. And plus, you're doing your intern year usually that first year, and then you have more surgery experience than the average med student does at that point either. So it's nice, you know. So you're a little bit above them, you know, like with your technique and stuff. So just dealing with patients, because you've dealt with patients in the clinic in dental school for a couple of years. So you have that rapport down. It's not like a big deal, you know. So I think you're above them in a lot of ways that way, clinically.
Right, experience-wise, not above them, but yeah.
No, but you have more. You know, you've been seeing your own patients for a couple of years and doing all that, and you're pretty good with that. So it's not a new thing to talk to real people when you're not like 2 years of med school. Now you're seeing patients all of a sudden in the 100%. Hospital.
I got a question for you then. Think about this. I think we both have a similar answer, but you're going in July 1st. Let's just say July. Facial laceration, you're going into the hospital. Who do you want to sew your face up? Do you want to be an oral surgery resident, or do you want to be a plastic surgery resident or an ENT resident? They're all in their first year.
Right. That's a tricky one, just because if you're coming in July 1, you're right out of dental school yourself, and you probably don't have a ton of laceration experience.
But a lot more hand school experience, right? Because you just did it for 3 to 4 years.
I don't know. I think at that point, I think there's a little bit more hand holding with the oral surgeries because your chief or your junior chief will be helping you more than likely, or they're not going to let you do it yourself. If you're on general surgery, like they're busier. A lot of times they got other stuff going on. They're like, oh, just get this set up and just start suturing. I'll help you out when I can. I don't know. I just felt like in our program and in a lot of programs, like there's more. Let's figure this out. Let's do these couple. Then you're going to be on your own. Like there's a little bit more of that mentoring. But again, July is a toss up because you're getting all these new residents.
Yeah.
I would say like a couple months into it, yeah, oral surgery more than likely. Otherwise you're going to get some like, psych resident who's doing their general surgery 8 weeks.
Also,
has
yeah,
no
that's a good
interest
point.
in your laceration. They're just happen to be on the trauma team during the time you're in, so, or the ER or something. So yeah, you don't know what you're going to get. But yeah, definitely oral surgery, because I was even suturing legs and stuff. Like it was not a big deal because you're working on the face all the time, and when you're on another service, it's like I can do that.
Why were you suturing up
That's not
legs?
hard. On vascular.
Oh, okay, but not on
A
facial.
little
I was
just
like, why are you
depends.
suturing
No, I mean,
some
you're
facial
going through
trauma?
all the stuff. Yeah, like, compartment syndrome, you're opening it up on the floor sometimes, and like it's just I remember all that stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
The gangrene toes, just
I liked vascular. That was one of my favorite services.
Oh, you like those black toes? You like those gangrenous toes?
Not like that. No,
Changing
it's
those
just I like the
bandages every
attendings. It was
day?
that and neurosurgery were my two probably favorite ones.
Why'd you like neurosurgery? I never got to see neurosurgery.
I thought the attendings were really cool, and then the residents were nice. It was a lot more work though in neurosurge, like you're managing ICUs and stuff, and I was getting there like at 3, 4 in the morning to do my pre-rounds. Like it was a lot. Like it was, yeah, and what was weird, because when I was in residency, we hadn't had the 80-hour work week. That kicked in literally when I was in my neurosurgery rotation. Like I had done my neurosurgery rotation for like 3 weeks. And then in the 4th week, the 80-hour mandatory work week, whatever it is, kicked in like legally. And they're like, based on your hours, you have the next 2 weeks off. I'm like, oh, thanks. I was like, really? Like, yeah. I'm like, because I was coming in like at 3:30 in the morning and like there all day, all night. Like it was a lot.
And did they give you those 2 weeks off, or did they just
They kind of
laugh?
had to. They had to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even now, I don't think it's like followed, but it's better than it used to be. Trust me.
100%. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely better.
You know what I mean? Like we were like there, we were on call, then working the next day, then there the next. Like it was a lot of like that. I don't think it's like that anymore, but it's you're definitely doing it more than 80 a lot of times. It's just not.
Oh, yeah, easy over 80. Neurosurgery is over like 180. I know some of those
that was
guys,
like the longest.
They're the last ones there. By the time you're leaving, they're just getting back to the computers to do the post rounds, the notes and stuff. And then they're always there. They're already in the OR by the time you get there in the morning. And oh man, neurosurgery is.
I think we rounded like 3 times at least before the attendings got there somehow. Or like it was ridiculous. Like I'd round, and then I'd kind of like stuff would change in the ICUs, and you have to go check on it again before you round with the resident, and then you round with the chief, and then when the attending got there, whenever you'd round again with them, like it was a lot.
Yeah.
And then you have to manage all I was just nonstop. But it was still fun. But I don't want to do it again. But it was fun.
Fun for those 3 weeks, and then getting 2 weeks off after. And now your schedule like now kind of mimics that. You work for 6 days, you're off for 6 days, stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. Right. But yeah, it's nice to be in a group practice.
So. When you're in your group practice, this is another thing I want to ask, because you said 5 partner, 4 locations.
Yeah, we have 4 partners now and 1 associate. And one of our locations we just built a few years ago, and it's actually twice as big as any other office we have. It's like almost 9,000 square feet. So it's like 2 offices all of a sudden extra. So we probably have, it's like 5 locations, but it's 4 because 1 office is just monstrous.
It's double. But
yeah,
do you
can
have through the rotations, or are you always on the same location?
No, we're always switching just to keep it fair.
Wait, what do you mean fair? Everyone wants the big one. Everyone wants the big.
Because some areas, depending on which area you're at, like there's different, population of people and procedures. Maybe it just keeps it fair with referrals. Like you're always doing a little circle with all the offices.
I see.
Otherwise,
so
if you're at just one spot, you might just get those referrals, and then someone else is there for whatever reason, they don't get any. So it just keeps it all fair.
Because I'm going
to manage all that.
Yeah. No. That's actually interesting. So then you're constantly telling your patients, like today at that one office, I'm here again in about 10 days or so on this date, so they can only come in.
If they want a particular office, then they're going to have to wait a little bit. If they don't really care, if they want just maybe a couple of the locations to be open, like we kind of manage it like that. But if you're always just at one office, like that would be trickier, I think. You'd have your own little niche of people, and I don't know. I don't think it's as fair, but.
So I'm assuming then your practice model, as far as the partners go, is based off of percentage. So whatever you're producing, you're earning a percentage of that. You're not kind of like everyone takes it and then takes out of the pot in
Yeah.
equal proportions as a
Yeah,
partner.
we all have a base pay, and then we cover a percentage of expenses based on, like, if I'm working, like if I produce, like, let's just say 200,000 that month and my partner produces 100,000. I pay for a little bit more of the expenses based on my higher collection also. So there's a system there for that. So whoever's collecting the most is paying the most also in expenses because they're using the most products. It kind of, there's a system there, but yeah. So then there's a percent collections that you get back. So yeah, if you work more or you produce more, then you're gonna essentially collect more too.
After hitting that base. I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So that's
Yeah.
where the fairness comes into play.
Yeah, so we all essentially get a base salary for the year. Taxes are taken out and everything, and then we all, based on our collections, get a dividend every month based on whatever that number is going to be, and we pay taxes on that like quarterly or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to be. I'm interested in answering that because I'm going to be at one location. That's what I just wanted one location, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and then it's like base salary every quarter, and then I think you get the percentage on top of that every quarter. Oh,
Are
interesting.
you in a private practice or a DSO?
Oh, no DSO. It's a private practice. It's 6 offices owned by one surgeon.
6?
6 right now. Yeah,
And how many surgeons are in the group?
about 6, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so you're going to be managing one location essentially then?
Yeah, just one. I really don't want to be driving around Long Island to do
I mean,
that.
that's different. Yeah, it depends on where the offices are. Like, I don't want to be driving around like a gajillion miles either. Our offices are relatively, but still, that would make sense. Yeah, Monday through Friday is a lot. So I know
know
it's a lot.
practices out here, the DSOs, they're pushing their guys 6 days a week and a half day on Saturday.
Oh God, no way.
Got to take call one
There is
weekend
no
a
way.
month. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But these DSOs, it's
Yeah.
about machining the whole. It's about gaming the system of healthcare.
Yeah, we're in a weird time with that right now. Like, corporate dentistry is going to be the thing in like 10, 12 years. You don't go to any private practice ENTs anymore. You don't see any private practice really, ophthalmology. Like, they're all big groups, right? So dentistry is going the same way, so.
No, it's not good. And then I'm hearing different things because you can only squeeze the margins of profit only so many times in healthcare. There are people involved, and there's going to be a variability of expenses required to maintain the practice, the staff, the drama, the patients, the complications. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not like Toys R Us where all of a sudden you're using a different plastic and the cost goes down. It's you can't just return.
Yeah, ever since COVID, like, it's just been weird. Expenses have been up; they've kind of held up there. It's just, yeah, it hasn't really been the same, I don't think, since COVID, in a lot of different ways. Plus, now you got DSOs, competing with those. If you're private in your private group, you're competing with, people are getting paid essentially more in a lot of cases with a DSO. But there's good and bad with that. Like, you have quotas almost. It's like you have to produce, and so, like, it's different. And what's interesting is we, with our associate recently, like, we had him on a 4-day and then a 5-day schedule. Like, he was doing a 4-day week and then a 5-day. So it's kind of like that. And then we recently switched him to the partner schedule. He's still an associate, but we actually said, hey, do you want to do the same schedule we do? And we're not going to dock your pay or anything either. We just kind of, because of it, just made more sense for patient flow, for everyone's on the same schedule. So we just recently have kind of gone to that even. And then, so yeah, you just got to see what the market is and what it's doing and kind of tailor it that way. But he's on a much looser schedule, but he's got more time to study for his, oral boards coming up. There's things like that. You guys take now your written during residency, right?
Yeah, I just took mine 2 Fridays ago. Yeah.
Oh, did you find out? Is it
No,
hard?
I got no idea. I'm sitting around here.
They should already know by now. That's weird.
It's like 3 months. Yeah.
That's weird.
It's very
know
weird.
Yeah, unless they just pass everybody and they're like, we just got to fail like 3 people and that's it. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, you're guessing like half the exam anyway. I don't know what they're looking at for 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Were there any questions where like it was just hard to see the pictures? Like, I remember like it was so bad.
Oh,
but
yeah. It's constantly
so ghetto. It's like, that's the best picture you got. It's so bad.
It's black and white and cut off. I can't even see the end of the arrow. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Oh,
So
it's really bad. A lot of the questions are apparently like experimental, so they give you like you need a little bit more, a few more details in order to actually distinguish which is the correct answer. A lot on the nose, a lot on the ears, a lot on the eyes.
was there a lot of cleft stuff?
A few, yeah.
Our
There.
program
Well,
didn't have a cleft. We didn't have a lot of cleft experience in our program, so all my cleft stuff was like didactic for the most part. That was my weakest part, even on the orals. But I smoked the orals. I did really well. I think I just stumbled a little bit on the cleft stuff, but other than that, that was fine.
so yeah. We same thing here. It's all didactics. There was a lot of distraction osteogenesis. Did you ever do that?
Yeah, we did some, but it wasn't. It was like super popular for a while. I mean, people obviously still do it, but like at that point, it was like the thing. People were like, but yeah. So
Yeah, and there were like 10 questions on the boards on distract. Like I don't know anyone that's even like you've done it, but you haven't done more than what 10 cases.
yeah, it was really popular
Well,
for a while, and I mean, people still do it for various indications, but it's not like it used. I don't think it's like it used to be.
yeah, and those surgeons are going to retire in like 2 years, so they're at the end.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but
They got to update these things. That we're really living in the stone age with oral surgery. I think we need to move forward a little bit and we need to look at these results. 26 unmatched spots last year, 21 this year. I think we got to do some talking like what's going on actually, not blaming it on other things. And I think
right.
all this has a lot to do with it. The board 10 questions on distraction. No one's done that in like 20 years.
Yeah, I
Legitimately
don't
done
know.
it, We're doing
Yeah,
orthodontics
because
now. Like we're
grafting is improved in so many different ways since all those distraction cases were done too. And some of those were done, to be honest, like I felt like sometimes for MRB,
yeah,
just we could do distraction, we could do something else. Let's do the distraction because it's cool. I don't know. Like you could make a case either way. I'm not saying it's bad care. I'm just saying like, when you're in a residency program, you got to make business decisions too. And so that's part of it. But yeah. So
yeah.
there's
Yeah,
different
so
ways to do the same case, and sometimes you want to pick the cool way, the way that you don't do as much.
right for the
But yeah,
experience, for the learning.
yeah,
It's excellent.
yeah.
But
Because when you're get out working, like you need people to be able to do this stuff, for the indications that are needed. So that's why.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. So
Yeah.
what
So
else is going
what
on?
I
Oh,
was
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
what
going
was
to
it?
tell you, like before, like so when I told you in the beginning, like I interviewed at 6-year programs. My thought when I was getting into oral surgery was I want to do oncologic surgery, and
Oh,
so I
you told me this.
thought, and so that's why I interviewed at the 6-year programs because I thought that would. I looked at programs that had a lot of cancer surgery, and so I interviewed actually at Oregon at the time. At AGH, my program was doing a lot. They were doing a lot of cancer surgery as well, and some Maryland and some other ones, and so like that's why. But when I got in there, I did my med school, and then what happens in 6-year programs, and this happened in our program, and it does happen in other ones. People do the med school and they get their MD and they leave for another specialty. So I think they have a higher rate of people that drop out of those 6-year programs because they're like, I like anesthesia better. They're like, I want to be an ER doc. And so like,
That's
that's
true.
that happens. And so like even with me, like after I got my MD in the program, I was like, I really want to do oncologic surgery still, but I probably should do it as an ENT. That's what I was thinking. probably should do it as an ENT, not an oral surgeon, because politically that would be easier. So if I did an ENT residency and an ENT fellowship with head and neck surgery, oncologic surgery, that would be the way to go. And so I actually interviewed at ENT programs. I went through that. I interviewed at Tufts at the time. And then life happens and like some stuff happened. I'm like, what, I'll just stick with the oral surgery. And so I didn't pursue that, but I actually went on interviews. And I didn't tell my program at the time either that I was doing that. I just did it on my own just to see what was out there, and decided ultimately just to stick with the OMFS, and I finished it out. I'm happy I did. It's just that's what happens to people. I think like I can freaking leave and just do like hand surgery or
Crazy.
ortho. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I think people do that, and so that's part of their they have an attrition there after you get your MD. So
Well, wait. Before you move on from that, what were
yeah.
some like two or three things, the main things where you were like, no, I am gonna stay oral surgery. What was like the light bulb where you're like, no, what am I thinking? I'm gonna stick with like what? Why'd you come back?
I looked at the time involved and everything, and then at the time just got married, thinking about kids, and it's just like too much. It's just so yeah, it just became like, you know what? I looked at it. I think I'd be happier just not doing that fellowship and saving like 3-4 years and start working. Because again, I was on loans. Like I took loans for dental school, I took loans for med school. So it's all on me. Basically, when you do that, you're investing in yourself, right? It's like your best investment you're going to make. Like I'm investing in me to do this and be able to pay all this back, and then
Yeah.
earn a good living and do all the things. But
You were married
that's
at that time?
basically, yeah.
And then are you still with your partner now?
No,
So my
single.
question,
Hey,
my question is then no, because I know that, but I just wanted to so the
yeah.
viewer listeners can hear. But knowing that, would you have gone for ENT if you weren't married back at the time, or knew that this was the
I think
the
so.
result? You would
Yeah,
have done
I
it.
think
You would have done it.
I was really thinking about it. Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about ENT was the earwax. Oh, that's gross. Like in the clinic, I'd be like, oh, that's nasty. People are like, how do you look at mouths all day? I'm like, oh, dude, it's not earwax though. It's like,
Oh,
that's gross. That's the only thing like is disgusting.
that's pretty gross.
I mean,
Oh
perial
my god,
mouth and stuff, yeah, it's gross, but earwax is just something else. Like there's like hairs
earwax,
in there. There's like other things in there.
mashed
I don't know.
potatoes and carrots. Yeah, the whole nine
Anything
yards.
can be in there. Like a bug leg, like is gross. It's nasty.
This is
So,
spider nest,
dude, I
gangrenous
was in the
toes,
ENT
and
clinic and
earwax.
like they'd be in there like pulling stuff out of this little. I was like, what the hell? That was in that dude's ear. So nasty.
Pulling like
Like,
rabbits out of a hat.
oh, but
Oh, but you would have done it, you sicko. You would have done it. Wow.
yeah, yeah. There was a
All right.
show on TLC network. They did one season of it, and I didn't really see it until they sent me a link. It was called Stuck, and like the show was about like things getting stuck in people, like an arrow in a leg. It could be like something in the ear, like a bug. Like it's just the nastiest stuff, like random stuff. And
Yeah.
they had found my social media, and they said we have a couple. Some of your cases might be on the show. Like so, I did a video call with them and all that stuff. I don't even think they did a season 2, so it didn't end up going anywhere. But they're like, yeah, we're looking for season 2 stuff. And so I did a video call with them, and they sent me links to the show, and I had never heard of the show, and I was watching some of the episodes, and one was like this earwax with bugs in it. It was just I was like brought back all these like memories of ENT clinic, but yeah, that's nasty.
Why wouldn't you still would you still dream of doing, cancer resections and stuff? Do you
No,
still want to do that?
no. I think if I was going to do that surgery, it's kind of cool now because the ENT surgeons go in and they just blow it up, and then they call in
Yeah.
plastics to fix, like to pull it all together. That would
Yeah.
be fun for me because I don't want to have to put it together. I'm like, I'll just take it all out. All right, I'm gonna take off. It's like 2 p.m. and they're there till like 9 p.m. like working, and like that's cooler to me. Leaving the OR earlier and just like, all right, I'm done. Have
Yeah.
fun, guys. Do your flaps, and so do your trapezius and whatever the hell you're gonna do.
It's true.
But but in residency you want to do it all. Like you have to do it all. Like you're doing the surgery and the flap, and you're working with the plastics guys. You're getting all the experience, which is great. But when you're in
Right.
private practice, like a lot of times now, like ENTs aren't doing the flap too. Like they're bringing people to do that part generally, which is
Generally, yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
They'll take out everything, get all the margins, whatever, and then their part's done, which is cool.
Right. I mean, you
So
could probably do that now, though. But you would just need like the fellowship for the reconstructive purposes, which you wouldn't want to do. I'm just
you
considering
would
like
have to have a fellowship, yeah.
if your pathway was that direction, from
Yeah.
back when during your residency. Wow, if you weren't married, you probably would have made the switch. That's incredible for me to think about. I can't imagine we wouldn't be having this call right now. You'd be some famous
Well,
ENT
there's
somewhere.
some that are like have been dual OMFS ENT trained, right?
Mm,
Like there's people out there like that. There were people out there in Oregon like that when I was interviewing, like Dirks and Potter and those guys were, I think they were dual OMFS ENT, both of them. And
yeah.
then there's a guy here in Seattle, Futran. He's like that. Head of the ENT, and he's also OMFS trained. And so like, yeah, there's people like that. In our residency at AGH, one of our full-time faculty was dual boarded in ENT and facial plastics. He wasn't even oral surgery, but we got to do the cool stuff with him because of his training.
Yeah.
But he was on
Yeah.
our faculty, which was cool. That's why part of the reason, so it was nice to have all that experience. Like we did some crazy stuff with him, like in the OR, which is cool. But he wasn't even oral surgery. He was just ENT and facial plastics. He had a fellowship. So
Right. We have a guy who's one of the head of the departments of the city hospital. He's maxillofacial trained from Italy and did a fellowship in, I think it was Beijing, but very very interesting that or Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So it's funny because you get to kind of see and do a lot of stuff just outside of oral surgery, like borderline, or it's within, but you wouldn't do it if they weren't there, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. We did some forehead flaps, some like nasal septal rhinoplasty, like a lot of stuff like that, which is fun.
Oh, you're doing a lot. Yeah. That's pretty good. Anything on
Yeah.
the ear besides wax?
We did cartilage grafts from the ear and all those sorts of things with
Oh, you
him,
did do
but it was
concha.
nice.
What are the 3 structures that make up the concha bowl of the ear?
Stop it. Stop it. Get
That
out of here.
was literally a boards question I got.
You just remember that. That's
That's
nice.
literally a
Write that
boards
down for
question.
someone else.
That's
Did
stupid.
you write down all the questions? You're like, I'm gonna write them all down and for what I can remember. And I didn't. Everyone does that. But yeah,
I was going to, and I was like, if I
don't do that.
I'm gonna hate this. No, I didn't do it. It was funny because we
like
we
everybody
had like Monday morning rounds where we like present the cases of the last week and stuff. One of the attendings stopped us and said, "How did the boards exams go?" To all the 3 chiefs, and we were like, I mean, could have been better, could have been worse." It was like she like hounded us and like, "What questions do you remember? What do you got?" And so we just started. Oh well, there was this one, there was that one.
Well, you're chief now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
4 months left.
Got it. Do you have all your requirements? You have all your requirements almost?
I don't. No, I don't. No.
I don't even know what they are now, but yeah.
I just got to get orthognathics. My rotations weren't very fruitful for orthognathics, so I have to wait. I had 3 cases on the first go around, and 2 of them, one was delayed, 2 was canceled, and then one guy pushed back 2 months, and we just found out this week that he's getting his braces off. He's not getting orthognathics at all. So I went 0 for 3, and now on the second go around, it looks like we have 12 planned. So you'll get like 50% of them. Maybe I'll get 8, and that'll be plenty.
That's enough. Yeah. One of our partners, he did a fellowship in TMJ and orthognathics. He's got an interest in it, so that's great. He can offer all that. I don't do that anymore. I stopped doing orthognathic surgery in about 9 years ago now. But yeah,
really.
So,
why?
Go through divorce and all that stuff. So I was like, I got enough going on. I don't want to.
Okay.
No,
fair.
I don't know. It's just part of it was the hospital like we're at. They kind of like, we lost money on these cases and they're making it kind of hard. We have to maintain our own instruments there. Like it wasn't like, they just made a lot of steps there for it to happen. And it wasn't like a system where we had in place where that helps the practice grow or produces, anything like you could do other surgery and be much more productive. So it's economical as well.
Oh, it's got to be a smooth thing. You know what I mean? You got to be 100% focused on the surgery, the patient, the plan. To be like messing around with instruments in the middle of that, you don't want that. You don't want that.
Yeah, because they're not doing it all the time at the hospital, and so if you're at a hospital that doesn't do it all, every week, every month, even, instruments get lost. You're like trying to find these things, and it's like you're in surgery, and like they can't find what you need. It's like it's a hassle, man. So just everything about it just became cumbersome. So. But now I think they got a better system in place. But still, I'm like, I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah.
I do other things.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And I mean, it's much more enjoyable to do some of the other things. I mean, orthognathics are awesome, but when it's just becomes such an uphill walk, there are things.
Well, that's the thing with our specialty. Like, it's nice. Like, you can, like, the way we offer, it's like if we bring in an associate in and want to be partner, which is great, you can do what you want. If you want to just do all sinus lifts, you can do all sinus lifts. If you want to do orthognathics TMJ or whatever, do it. There's no limitations on it. It's just kind of like you can tailor it to what you are interested in, which is nice. And so that's nice about our specialty. There's so much you can do. Yeah. You can kind of, tailor your career as far as that goes.
Who's the partner
nice.
You have who did the TMJ fellowship?
His name is Dustin Altman.
Altman. Does he make any videos, content, anything?
I'm the only one in our group that does. Yeah.
What about your associate?
All the stuff I do is nobody does.
Oh.
I'm the only one.
Did you pick any of your how many of your partners and the associate obviously came in? How many of your partners came into the practice after you?
2 partners and 1 associate. I did start doing my social media until after COVID.
Yeah, after COVID.
I wasn't even on it. Like, yeah, so.
Yeah, I thought maybe at least one other person in your practice would have some understanding, some experience, do anything. Nothing?
Zero. Negative 0.
Like it that way,
negative 5. It's like, I don't know. I just had because, with COVID, like, I got in it late. Like, people were doing it like 5-10 years before COVID, right? They were on Instagram and they got really big because the algorithm supported it at the time.
Yeah.
And even when I started, like, it was more supportive, but it was just really like sensitive content. Like, all these warnings would come, like, now your community guideline violations. So it's hard now. It's even harder now to grow. Like, I was growing like 10,000 plus a year on Instagram, and now it's like plateaus. It's like 3,000. It's like they really stopped it all for our kind of content, surgical content. So that's why that's why I pivoted into podcast. I mean, I'm still doing both, but I think the podcast stuff has a better reach. It's PG-13ish, and so it is what it is, and it's on a lot more platforms.
There's so many restrictions. The bloody content with the surgical content, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And more every day. I just did a live, and yeah, you know that you do a live and they give you those clips at the bottom. Do you do any lives?
I've never done a live.
You've never done a live. You'd be great on a live session.
I don't know what the hell to talk about. Like, this is my lint brush. I just got it from Amazon.
No, you talk about
I don't know.
whatever. It's like a Q&A session. You just do a live. People ask
I don't
questions, and
think
you just answer the
anyone's want to
question.
know anything. Like, I don't know. I just don't feel like I don't know. I feel like to do all that stuff, I need someone to like be my personal assistant and like set all this stuff up. Like, there's so much you can do. And some people are they just do it and they're fine with it. I'm like, I don't know, I want to do a live. I'm too picky. I'm like, I want the lighting. I want this. I'm like, it's a little pickier. I like
All
it a little
right.
bit where I can control more of that stuff. I think with live, it's tougher. Maybe at some point I will, but I don't feel like I need to right now.
You don't. You don't need to. That's not. You don't need to. No,
You
no.
do
But
lives?
it's fun. I do them. I've
I
done
don't ever click on
46.
anyone's live except for on accident sometimes. I'm like, oh, it's like, sorry. It's just like a coworker. I'm like, oh, and I got on this thing. I've not done one. What do you talk about on live? People ask questions?
I'd say ask any question or ask fun questions or ask I just say like
Well, that's
ask
the
any
thing.
question and then just ask questions and talk.
You're good at the question stuff because like on your LinkedIn and all those things, like you get a lot of answers and like people are engaged that way. And I think that translates into the lives for you really well, probably. I don't really do a lot of that stuff. I don't do the questions. I could, I just haven't. And so like, I don't really have that rapport, I think, with people. So I don't know, but you get a lot of engagement that way. You know, that's a great thing. You know, people are really interested and you post some cool stuff, like some cases and stuff like, you know, what's the differential here? Like, what's this? What's that? Like and that's nice. I haven't really figured
Fun,
out how to
you
use
know?
LinkedIn. So it's like, you know, I'm like, how does it get like that many people on LinkedIn? I'm like, what's funny is I had a lady ask me on a date from LinkedIn. I don't even know. And like, she's like,
Really?
messaged me like, hey, you know, I live in Renton. You're in Seattle? I'm like, yes, it's LinkedIn. And like LinkedIn. Oh, who knew? So that's like, yeah, you're in Renton. My parents live in Renton.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did she do? What did she do for a career?
Aesthetic nurse practitioner or something. I don't know.
Aesthetic and paid. It sounds pretty good. Pretty
This was
good.
like a few years ago. I'm like, or a couple of years ago, or a year and a half. I don't even know, something like that. But it was like, oh, that's LinkedIn. I thought it was a spam at first. Then she started getting real local with stuff. I'm like, oh, this is not spam. But gotta be careful. So LinkedIn, I don't know, who knew.
Did it go anywhere? Did you
No,
get
I never met her.
You didn't even get like any Botox, maybe a couple fillers?
No. It's just the messaging got really weird really fast from her, and I was like, I don't think I want to meet you. So
Oh,
stopped.
all right.
But it wasn't spam, so it was like, all right, LinkedIn. But I don't use it other than, you know, the odd rando thing like that. So
Yeah. No, LinkedIn's good for B2B. You know, how are you going to get your referrals? How are you going to, one of the things, I mean, I do because I think it's fun. It creates a
how are you
really
going to
good network.
congratulate work anniversaries without LinkedIn?
Well, how are you going to, there's not how are you going to, but I think it's a great way to perform active or like daily or weekly continuing education with your network of referring dentists, other specialists. And
Right.
it really fosters a really nice discussion in the comment section of, well, what about this? Or what do you think about that? Or when was the last time it creates a pretty cool thing. And next thing you know, I started posting the podcasts on there, and then people
Like the
from
full
like
episode?
kind of like
Like,
the
or short
cover,
forms?
not even
Oh,
like
then a link to view it or something?
yeah. And it
Okay, yeah.
doesn't get much views, but then you have LinkedIn people asking to be on the podcast or someone's interested and say, hey, you want to come on? And I don't know. I like it's just another environment of connections with a different form of engagement because it's very
I get it.
professional, educational there versus like
Yeah.
TikTok versus Instagram.
Right. Because I mean, I'm on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. TikTok is weird, but I think it's if you use it the right when you figure it out like a little bit, it's good because stuff comes out there first, and so
Yeah.
you can get the viral stuff there. And I still haven't tapped it to its potential because again my content's like bloody, so it's like censored, and so I change the colors. I do what I take out the, you know, the blood colors and stuff on it, and so like it helps, but it's still not. And I don't do skits like people do. Like people get really popular with skits and stuff. I don't just don't
Mm.
do that. So I don't know, there's a lot of limitations still for what I do, but it's good. It's nice to see stuff there, and then you can translate that to reels a little bit.
We got to figure out how to tap into TikTok's full potential. That was a great point that you made. No, because I
Yeah.
feel like it's really
And I suck at
plateaued.
YouTube too. Like I suck at YouTube. I don't know what the hell's going on with my YouTubes. So I'm trying to figure that out.
What do you do? Do you do everything the same between your TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, or what do you do differently between the platforms?
I don't know. So that's the thing. Like I don't have the time to like do a different one for each. So I kind of like generically do it sometimes, but the TikTok stuff, I change the colors. I have to.
You have to.
And so I do that. And then I add music in the background on TikTok because I don't know. It's
Oh,
TikTok. So I think even if you have it on low volume, like the music, like the algorithm will pick up. I don't know. So it's kind of dumbed down in a way, in a lot of ways, because even from the comments from people on TikTok are just not as, in tune with what we do. So
oh, they're way off. They're way
yeah,
off.
I know. Like bro's got to be dead, man, because it's a black and white video of some surgery. Man, bro's a cadaver. I'm like, bro, don't even like. I'm like, it's like that's the TikTok comments. Bro's a
You make how
walker.
much money? Yeah. Oh man.
It's
Oh,
like it's all bro and like stuff like that. But I think
you
it's
get a
funny
lot more
still.
bro than I just did. Yeah,
I get a
the
lot of
last
bros.
live. You got a lot of bro. Yeah, I mean the bros are great. The bros generally very
Yeah.
supportive on TikTok. I got to say that. You got to give the bros some positivity there.
And now that thing, like everyone's like doing like 3 emojis as like a thing. Is that like a bot? Like I was like trying to Google it. Like what the hell's going on with all these comments with 3 emojis? Are those all
Seen that.
bots? Is like a thing? Like I don't know what the hell's going on. But
I don't
whatever.
know what that
That's
is. I
TikTok.
noticed that. Yeah. What could that
Yeah,
be?
I don't know. I was literally Googling that the other day and trying to figure it out. And I was on Reddit, like looking at these threads about it, and like it just went all different ways. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on either.
Yeah. Nothing. Nothing.
Eh. Some people are saying they're bots. Some people are saying no, they're not. It's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. If
I
you figure
got
it out,
one
let me
last.
know.
I got one last question for because now we're
Yeah.
getting towards the.
Oh
So
yeah.
what do
Yeah.
you think? Are you glad that TikTok isn't banned? You thought it should be banned. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I'm glad it's not because I don't trust Instagram with anything. Like if they were like the main thing, like I feel like that sucks.
Mhm.
And so like I feel like you need more platforms for this stuff. Even though my Instagram is bigger than my TikTok, like, but it's not bigger by a lot. And TikTok's been growing faster than Instagram lately. So
Really?
maybe yeah. Yeah. I think my
Wow.
Instagram's like 41,000 people and my TikTok's like 38, but I'm getting like a lot more every day on TikTok now. And I don't
Why do you
post a
think
lot as much because when I started doing the podcast stuff, I don't post as much surgical stuff because I just can't, I don't have the time to do it all. So
Right.
my posting has been less on those surgery accounts, but still it's sometimes 1 or 2 or even 3 a week sometimes still, which is a lot, but it's not as much as it used to be. So
Got to up those rookie numbers, man. Come on. You got to
yeah,
pump
I
them
know
up.
it's too much.
5 times a week, every day you work.
Well, the podcast is it's video, and so like and I put graphics in like a lot of times, so it just takes. And by the time you push it out to like your I don't know what you if you use like a hosting site for it, and then you have to push it out on other platforms manually. That's what I have to do.
Yeah,
But
I
I
do
think you've
it.
been using AI a little bit, so that's probably helpful. But
Well, here I got Spotify. You know the Spotify creators YouTube channel.
is your podcast video on Spotify?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
For
oh,
the
that's
short
good.
clips,
Yeah.
no. For the long clip, yeah, exactly,
Yep. Yep.
exactly. For AI, everything AI I do is in the captions
Yeah.
and Opus Clip. Have you tried Opus Clip?
I have. It's been glitchy for me, but yeah.
Really? Yeah, I don't use Opus Clip enough, but it generally does. I think a good job, and now you can add the B rolls on it.
Well, now Riverside has that smart view where it'll change views to which I've been hoping they'd add that. I like that. So if you edit yours, you can use the smart view and it'll just pick like if it want to concentrate on the speaker or both of you, or it'll just kind of go back and forth a little bit on its own.
I've
I've been
seen that.
using that. I've been using that on my last couple.
I like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I like that we have a variety. You know, you can make it
Yeah.
from Riverside directly. Now you have Opus Clip, and then there was another way to get clips of the. I mean, I guess you can make them manually too if you.
I was making them manually because I didn't like the Opus ones.
Oh man,
So
that is brutal. But wait,
it's a lot.
do you think that's why your TikTok lately has started to go up again?
No, I don't. It's not from the podcast account. It's a surgery account on TikTok. Um, so I
You
don't
don't
know.
post any of your podcast clips on.
I do, but that's low. That's like a couple hundred people on it. It's like not even.
It's tough,
It
right?
hasn't
It's actually
hasn't
really
really.
tough.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I've been
not like
slowly,
some woman
yeah.
dancing, so it doesn't get a lot of hits. But it's TikTok. So
Maybe you can start dancing a
it's
little
not
bit
like
on the
animals
podcast.
fighting or a bar fight. Like those are like the high view TikToks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I'm slowly mixing in like my little podcast, TikTok live clips and stuff into the TikTok. I try and alternate. I'll do like that in the morning and then I do the daily video in the evening and then
So you're
whatever.
posting a lot. Yeah, you're posting a lot. I found like if I can get 2 podcasts out a month, that's what I need to do, but it's hard for me to even do that. So
What are you doing afterwards that takes so long? Or is it the scheduling? What is it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just I feel like a lot of mine have been conversational, but with facts and stuff. So I have to research and then put some graphics in there. Like that all takes time, and I've been doing. So it's just I've been doing it the hard way. I think, like rather than just free flowing it as much because there's been some knowledge stuff in there. Like I feel like I've been doing it that way. Not so much lectures, but just, adding some insight from specialists and anesthesiologists or something else. It's just something like that. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Extremely
It's a work
helpful.
in progress.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
No, it's great. That's extremely helpful to throw those in there too, because it's applicable. It's directly in the moment. And you said you put like visuals on that too. Yeah. Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm pulling stuff from like, articles and stuff I've read, like, pictures of whatever in videos even. So it's just a lot of extra busy work.
You doing
goes
all
into
that
putting them out
after the episode?
Mm-hmm.
And how
I
long
try to
is
get
that?
all the pictures ahead of time on my phone or whatever, ready to go. And then when I do the post editing, I'll clip them and put them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does that take? Are we talking like 2 weeks?
No, I mean, last time I did a podcast a couple weeks ago with Jackie.
Yeah.
And we recorded on a Sunday and I edited it and I got it out on Monday. So I'm pretty fast with it now, but there's pre-planning into that. Like I already had a lot of the images on my phone. I do most of it on my phone. And then I use Riverside and I get to, this is all boring for people, like the editing part. But yeah, we were recording on wherever we're using to record our podcast. And then you have to edit it a little bit on there for flow. And then I push it out to Dropbox. And then from Dropbox, I actually push it to my phone on Dropbox. And I use InShot on my phone to edit it because I feel like it's faster for me. And I can add all the videos and clippings on my phone really fast because everything's on my phone already. And then
right.
once that's edited, I push it back to Dropbox, the Riverside, because then I get the show notes from the edited one. And then I can push it out. So there's a lot of stuff that goes in there, people. You're making these things.
That is a big loop.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Then you got to do the thumbnails and like it's just like all the stuff. And then when it's out, then you got to do short forms on it. And so it's like a lot of nonstop stuff.
Yeah. Then you have the short forms.
Plus, I got a job and stuff. So stuff.
Oh yeah, the job, the raccoon, the cats, the daughter. Yeah. Oh, it's a wonderful life, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
All right, man. So what's next? While we wrap this up,
Are you doing any meetings this year?
I want to hit the aim.
Don't you guys do meetings? Yeah, I'm gonna try to go to Amos in DC this year, and I haven't been to the AO in a long time, and it's in Seattle this year, actually in March, so I'll probably do that because I'm here. So yeah, if you're gonna be an AO this year, hit me up. But so I'll do that, and then probably Amos this year.
Excellent. I'll probably only see. It'll probably just be Amos if I could even get there because I'll only be like a month or two in to working.
Yeah, I know it's tough. Yeah,
that's gonna be tough. I'm gonna let him know I want to go to that every year. So
yeah,
I think it's
good.
Idea.
It's good for networking, and it's nice. That's really what I use it for now, mostly because now you can get the CE online afterwards. So that's nice.
Yeah, we should do that. We should do
real
this
time.
And record an episode there every year. We should do a little.
Yeah, they have a room for that, but yeah.
Do they really?
Mm-hmm. They did it the last Amos in Orlando.
I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Where
like a podcast room people can use. Yeah,
we could have just walked in and just started recording.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. Can we do that this year? But
you have to book it. They have it there though. I don't think there's a charge for it, but it's there.
Could we just make our own room, and then when people walk by in the convention, hey, get over here,
Dr. Jackie, get over. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. So as long as you get the audio right. So that's the hardest part probably.
That would be fun. We just start messing around and just call people in and that would be great. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean the ice bar thing was kind of fun. But
that was a good time.
Orlando was hot for me. It's too humid there for me.
It was so humid when we were there.
Ugh, yeah. So
yeah. All right, Dr. Wahan, I gotta pack it and get ready for tomorrow. Gotta go make the lunch and stuff. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, good stuff, man. But enjoy the last few months you got. It's nice to be out of there. Trust me.
Oh, I wish I could skip over these last 4 months, but
yeah,
I can't do that.
It's like senioritis after a while. You're like, and you start working finally. So it's nice.
Looking forward to that. Yeah.
Get used to those 5-day weeks. You're like, oh, this is like a vacation.
It's true. I got to get those orthognathics in, and then we'll be good to go. We'll be surfing through.
Nice.
All right. So we'll talk soon. All
right, man.
Have a good rest of the week, and we'll chat. I'll get this up soon.
All right. Take care, Bren.
All right. Good night.
Bye.